less waste, more opportunity. We're taking wasted resources, both material and human, and putting them both, combining them, and transforming that waste into really usable, productive, new skills, new products, and new ability to serve and give back to the community.
Hello, this is Paul Connett. We've come to Burlington, Vermont, Pine Street to be exact, to have a look at this operation Recycle North. Now, we were here a couple of years ago and we got a lot of footage then of the typical reuse of household appliances that you see in quite a number of facilities now around the country and, for that matter, around the world. What makes this a little different and more exciting is it incorporates a fairly advanced training program. They literally take people off the streets and then train them to handle and repair computers, small appliances, large appliances, and other equipment. We're going to have a look at that job retraining today and some of the a vast number of materials that they're selling back to the public at reduced prices. Reuse and repair is very high in the hierarchy. Recycling is important. Taking materials, taking objects and taking the materials and using them again. But if you can take the whole object and reuse the whole object again, it's much better. You save more energy there, you save more money there, and at the same time it can be used as a way of generating jobs. We want to look at that economic aspect in particular. And something else has happened since we were here last time. They've added a deconstruction unit to this operation where they have crews going out and taking down buildings of a variety of different kinds, reclaiming the materials, and they have a second facility where, like a giant warehouse, where they're selling those materials back to the public. We want to look at both of those operations today, where they're taking down a building and also where they're selling the building materials. So let's have a look at all three of those operations today. And what kind of things are you looking for here?
I basically find everything here. Vacuums, shop for TVs, stereo equipment, dishes, that sort of thing. And
you've been happy with the stuff that you get?
Oh, definitely. And if I buy something that doesn't work, I can bring it right back and they'll
replace it.
Yep.
Yeah. And what do you think of this operation, Recycle North?
Well, I think it's great because I'm a bargain hunter and I love garage sales, so it's like a year-round garage sale, and I really like the fact that I know it, employs a lot of people, and also it saves all the stuff from going to the landfill because most of it's still usable.
Tom, could you explain what Recycle North does?
Well, Recycle North has a three-part mission, which is reuse, poverty relief, and job skill training. We take in things that no one else wants, things that are otherwise going to fill a landfill, things that are perhaps broken or need to be refurbished. And we train people who are homeless, who are otherwise disadvantaged, people who are in transition to fix these things. We have 5 different skill areas in appliance repair, in electronics, computers, customer service and retail management, so the folks who are actually operating our store, and the final one is in business and office administration.
And what are you doing here, Bill?
I'm in the training program at Recycle North on how to repair and service computers.
And what have you learned to do with the computers?
I've learned to diagnose and troubleshoot to determine what's wrong with the computer, as well as being able to repair and service them.
And what do you hope to do once you've had this 6 months training?
To be able to find an adequate job to repair and service computers in the field.
Do you help get these people placed in a new job?
Indirectly, we coach them through interviews. We set up mock interviews with employers during the program so that the trainees develop relationships. And we're also starting to develop, there's a new program, some post-graduation support activities, so that we will play a bit more of a role in helping someone make that transition from the training program to that outside and often pretty scary world.
I've been here with 2 years, January 4th.
And did you have any skills to do this before you came here?
No, actually, I used to be a painter for 16 and a half years.
A painter?
Yeah, at Central Vermont Hospital in Berlin.
Okay.
And I got hurt and got into the electronics. Yep.
Just 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
And now you're repairing all these different things?
Yeah, we repair lots of different things. VCRs, TVs, stereos, whatever.
Which are the most challenging of these appliances, is it for you?
TVs.
TVs?
Because there's a lot more working products and resistors and stuff that you got to check with, and different things that can go bad in them.
And what is this that you got in your hand?
This is a CD player. And General Laser, right now we're just tearing it apart to find out what went wrong with it in the first place, and trying to learn more about them.
Yeah. So, and then when you fix them, they go downstairs and they get sold?
Resold at a cheaper price, help people out.
Yeah.
Keep it out of the junkyards.
This area is the small appliance workbench. This is where toasters, microwaves, phones, all small appliances can be fixed and repaired and put back on the shelves. In the background there's shots of, or there's some blender pieces and some vacuum pieces. There's all sorts of tools and sort of plugs and dials that would go on small appliances that might be missing them. Kitchen mixers, hair dryers, you name it. There's just about everything comes through here as far as small appliances go.
How long have you been working at Recycle North?
I've been here just about a year.
Okay, and what kind of things do you do here?
Well, we accept donations from local people of large appliances in this shop.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
stoves, refrigerators, freezers, washers, dryers, dehumidifiers, and if we can, we repair them and resell them or give them away. And if we can't, we just recycle the metal. You know, we have a metal dumpster on the side of the building.
And what was this that you were repairing over here before?
That was a dehumidifier.
Where did you get your training from?
Right here.
Right here?
Yeah.
You've only been here a year and you can repair all those things?
Well, we have training programs here, and I went through the 6-month large appliance training program, and I stayed on.
Okay, okay. You must like it here then.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of Recycle North?
It's great to get for getting training, and it's great to you know, feel like you're doing something, you know, to help the planet.
This is our computer use department. This is where we take in and service computers and personal computers. We have printers, CPUs, monitors, keyboards, just about every computer thing you could think of.
What experience have you had with computers before you started here?
I've been working with computers since I was 12 years old. Basically, ColecoVision. If you remember Radio Shack when they made computers, I was one of those guys on there. You know, the first program I wrote was "Hello World," and it flashed on the screen. You know.
So you're one of these computer whizzes. I mean, one of these kids that get sucked into computers and
exactly.
You love it.
I love every aspect of computers, from gaming to programming to just fixing them. Anything deals with computers, I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, what does Recycle North then mean to you with that background?
What I like about Recycle North is that I get to help other low-income families. When I was growing up in Brooklyn, you know, I couldn't afford a computer. I had to go to the library all the time. So by me putting a computer in someone's hands, you know, and then they have it at home, and their experience grows that way faster, as opposed to my method. I had to go to the library every day, you know, and tracked. It was like 5 miles, you know, just to go use a computer.
Now, what about training? Do you train people to do this?
I train individuals to become A+ certified. Basically, that's a national certification for computer technicians. On the national level, that means that you know your stuff. You know, like Bill right here, he's going to become A+ certified within 2 months, I'm assuming. Yeah. And he came here with no knowledge of computers. For the first week, we had him breaking open the boxes, you know, just getting familiar with working on a computer. And it's been 6 months, almost 6 months, and he's almost an expert. Well, individuals come here, you know, with they're a turning point in their life when it comes to their skills. You know, they're not skilled enough to get those high-paying jobs, and they can't support their families. So they turn to Recycle North, and what we do is, we retrain them. And basically, real low. Our tuition is only $900 for 6.5 months. Now, if you look at some companies, they charge you $2,000 per week for a training program in computers. So that's a big difference right there.
and they can get some of that money from the state, too. I mean, there are grants out there to help them.
Exactly. Individuals like Bill, they go through DET and other organizations that help them out.
And what is DET?
DET is Department of Education Training.
The most exciting, most rewarding part of your job?
Helping individuals like Bill succeed in life. Getting someone hooked to computers where, they go home and they're playing on their computers and they tell you they've been on a computer for like 12 hours, like me. Mm-hmm. It's getting someone the bug. That's what I call it, the computer bug. That's the best.
And what was your training?
Business administration, computer management. Yeah. And so basically, running this department is secondhand. Mm-hmm. The paperwork is easy. The fun part is dealing with the computers and the customers. You get a customer who comes in who's like, say, 65 years old, never touched a computer, and I put their first computer in their hand, and you see them light up, the big eyes. You're just like, yeah, that's rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you think operations like this are going to go?
The computer department eventually will become where everything is itemized that comes in the door. When it comes in the door, we know what component it is, where it belongs. We log it, and then we put it in our database, and then we put it online. If we can't sell it in the store, we'll sell it someplace else. Our training program is probably going to get bigger, where right now we're going to put on 2 trainees. In the past, we've only had 1 trainee. So in the future, we'll probably have around 5 trainees. We're going to need a bigger space, bigger accommodations. The world is the limit, basically. Computers is where it's at, and we're the fastest growing department, and we'll continue to be the fastest growing department.
You're pretty proud of this operation, aren't you, Cedric?
Oh, definitely. It's my baby.
The third area of our mission is in poverty relief, and we do that partly by just having low-cost goods available for sale, computers for $100 instead of $1,000. We have a TV for $30 or $40, refrigerators for $100, that type of thing. We also have a more direct means where we work with poverty and low-income groups, nonprofit organizations, social service organizations that are serving low-income people, and we give them vouchers which they then turn over to clients, low-income people who couldn't even afford the low prices at Recycle North. So these are homeless families who are just getting into a house. It's unfurnished. They need a bed. They need a table. Going to a store is just not an option. Mm-hmm. So this helps them get stable, improves their mindset, gives them a sense of stability, and really a claim on a home.
You are on the board of directors.
I am.
Of
yes.
Recycle North.
Yep.
How long for?
I've been on the board for a year and a few months.
And why? What is it about this organization that appeals to you?
Well, I wanted to get more involved in the community. And what really appeals is the threefold mission: reuse, recycle, poverty relief, and job skill training for folks who are in need of an opportunity to get past some barriers and get back involved in community living.
So you see this as a stepping stone for community building?
Yes, really. Absolutely.
Recovering people, not just objects.
Right, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Well, overall, this year our budget is $770,000. Of that, I think it's almost $600,000 is revenue from sales, waste that's converted into revenue.
What kind of payment do people have here? Is it minimum wage, or what kind of benefits do people have?
We've set a goal of having all of our staff positions as livable wage jobs. We do have a little bit of a divide because some of our jobs we do really see as entry level. Even though they're not formally trainee jobs, the people in those jobs are learning, and our expectation is that they will move on to a higher paying, better job as soon as they are able. So certain our staff, our manager, our trainer jobs are reasonably paid. They need to be better paid. There are benefits, but we need to expand them, and we're going to do that by becoming more efficient. We need to figure out and document what the best ways of doing things are. And so with a little bit more work, we're going to have a replication manual and a business plan that we will be able to give to other organizations to really help them get started. And possibly, you know, we'd even help them to the point of having some sort of franchise operation or something like that that perhaps would be helpful for some organizations. Maybe other organizations don't need that. They just need the manual, and off they go.
I understand that you're expanding the business into deconstruction in building materials. Could you tell us more about construction and demolition debris and what you intend to do with that area?
The currently, C&D debris is a huge part of the waste stream. We believe, and through our research of other organizations nationally and also of the status of the waste stream, that there's a real potential to capture some of that waste and convert it to useful products, reuse things. And there's already a thriving industry in architectural salvage, but there continues to be a huge amount of waste for the more common materials, you know, structural 2x4s, 2x6s, all of that type of material is generally wasted. Once it's in a house, when it's time to renovate or refurbish in a house or tear it down entirely, usually the crunch and dump guys, so-called, come in with a big backhoe and off the entire load goes to the landfill. We believe that here in Vermont we can deconstruct things, take a house down basically the way it went up, and salvage those materials. Those can then be sold at a really steep discount or given away through our Essential Household Goods program to benefit low-income housing projects, people in need. In fact, that some of the materials in old structures is more valuable and of better quality than the stuff that we're generating today. The wood tends to be closer grained. Sometimes it's drier, which has a few disadvantages, but it's more stable. And it really there's some beauty in it as well. Old structures, old barn board can be converted and value added to that wood by turning it into all sorts of products ranging from cupboards and cabinets to picture frames and mirrors. So we're very excited to get involved in an entrepreneurial way to take waste and convert it into jobs, new products, and things that are really useful to people.
This is a barn that was built in 1989. It was used to store some cattle up to a point. There was a milking parlor, and there was horses, I think, up until some time ago, and hay up above on the second floor.
And what kind of materials are you getting back from this building?
Mostly dimensional lumber, 2x10s and 2x4s, 8s, and a lot of plywood.
And what are you going to do with that?
We're going to resell it at our yard. We offer a bid to the homeowner for the cost of our labor. Typically, in the best case scenario, we would get paid for all of our time that we believe it would take us to take down the building. And otherwise, if it's a particularly valuable building, we'll offset our costs. If we really want the job, we can offset our labor costs by the value of the material.
Okay. And what would have happened to this if you hadn't been around?
This building probably most likely would have been demolished by an excavator, and it would have been simply smashed apart and crumpled and loaded into dumpsters and taken away.
So this is deconstruction, not demolition?
This is deconstruction, not demolition. This is work by many people to disassemble, to extend the life of this material, and resell it. And we're offering a lot more jobs that way. And
so how many jobs are working on this site? On
this site, there's 5 employees. We're all paid a decent hourly wage and health benefits, and a retirement program. So it works out pretty well.
And what other kind of buildings do you do? This is a barn. What other kind of buildings do you do?
Well, we really have a pretty wide scope of work that we're able to do. sometimes we'll offer a service as little as what we call a soft strip, which means that we'll go and maybe strip cabinetry out of a house, or we'll take off a wing of a house for a remodeling job, or up to a full takedown on a house, which is from the roof down, layer by layer, until it's down to the basement hole.
Okay, well, we've had a chance to see it. Not a huge amount of activity. We're rather late in this farmhouse. They've already stripped down a great deal of it, but we've seen a massive amount of lumber. These 2x8s and these sheets of plywood. This is very valuable material, clean operation. And now the next thing is we're going to have a look at the place in Burlington, Pine Street, where they sell this material back to the public. Not only this material, of course, but doors, windows, cabinets, tubs, showers and sinks, all the kind of things that they can get from old barns, old houses, hotels, you name it, any building that can be deconstructed, these guys will do it. Let's go to Pine Street now. This operation has only been going less than 2 years?
Yeah, it's been highly successful.
10,000 square feet?
Yes.
And it's chock-a-block with all these items?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get these items? Where do you get them from?
Well, we get them from two sources. The first is we have a deconstruction crew who goes out and literally takes a building down in the reverse order that it went up. Yeah. And we harvest the materials.
Including the floors?
Including flooring like this.
And
barn board.
Of old barns
and
things like that.
Absolutely. And we bring them back here, and we sell them to the public for reduced prices. The second way we get our merchandise is through public donations. Yeah. So if someone's doing a home renovation here in Burlington, and instead of taking that, instead of taking this flooring, for instance, and taking it to a landfill, we'll bring it here. We're set up as a nonprofit, so we can give them a tax receipt for their donation to a nonprofit.
Oh, really?
And so they can write that off on their taxes, and we can resell it again and give it a second life.
You even go down to tiny little screws and bolts.
Yeah, and we try to save as many things that would be useful, to the homeowner as we can.
So from the very big items I see behind you, there's a great big lamppost. How on earth did you? Looks like a new lamppost with the lamps on the floor.
Yeah, they actually go up on there. Yeah, it was an old street lamp donated by the city of Burlington.
They didn't want it anymore.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, looking at some of these objects, they look as if they've come from fairly wealthy homes, middle-income homes. Is there any message for countries where, or for communities where you've got less wealthy homes? Could this operation still work in that context, where people have less money and probably throwing away less valuable items?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The alternative is, of course, incineration in landfills, and they're not acceptable to us. That's why we started what we did. Reclaimed materials has an application the world over.
Yeah. So it may be not quite so valuable in our context of a wealthy country.
Yes.
But they're still being thrown away. They're still going to landfills and incinerators, and you can still reclaim them.
Absolutely.
And you can still create jobs doing it.
Yes.
Tom, what were you doing before you came to Recycle North?
I was in school. I was a student at the finishing up a master's degree at the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard. So that kept me busy for 2 years.
At Harvard? And now you're working with junk?
In waste.
But you're excited about it.
I'm excited. My background is actually in training, in job skill training for both youth and adults. I used to work for the Vermont Youth Conservation Corps, and went back to school. Was very focused on policy issues, educational issues. I still keep my hand in that. I'm on a high school renewal task force, and my interest. I also enjoy something that is at least mostly self-sufficient financially. I believe in that as a structure. You know, I think there are limits to what our government can do, and I think to the degree possible, through community involvement, community volunteer activities, and creating a really good model and seeing waste and converting it into training opportunities and jobs, that really is doing something unique and special, and something I'm excited to be part of. So we're taking wasted resources, both material and human, and putting them both, combining them, and transforming that waste into really usable, productive, new skills, new products, and new ability to serve and give back to the community.
Well, there we are. We've had our second look at Recycle North, and it's even more exciting than it was a couple of years ago. Not only have they still got the reuse and the repair and the job training, which we expected to see, but they have branched out into deconstruction. They're taking down buildings in the area, taking down things like barns and old houses and so on, capturing the lumber, the all kinds of things, flooring and roofing and fitments and bathtubs, you name it, and getting those back to the public. This is more than just waste management. This is resource management. This is higher up in the hierarchy, reuse and repair, but more exciting than that, it's human resource recovery. Not only are they making objects available to people of lower income, and even have a scheme where people that have no money could get coupons from social services and spend the coupons here, but at the heart of this operation is job retraining, where you have people with no skills coming in here and within 6 months leaving with a certificate and some help getting a new job. That is really exciting. And I think it's an exciting model, not only for a wealthy country like the United States, for any country in the world. We all need jobs. We all need small businesses. And to think that the money that otherwise would be frittered away on building landfills and incinerators to destroy these materials can be used to get community development and economic development. That is a very exciting message. And I'm also very excited to find that quite a number of St. Lawrence University students over the last few years have come through here and have got worthwhile jobs doing something which is socially and environmentally very useful. This is Paul Connett from Burlington, Vermont. Thank you for watching.